Vi from Kanavi. As LeBlanc going to come on through. The Tristana already removed, though, so that lane matchup should be pretty peachy for Ucal. As the Kaiser and Rel both available for JDG. The Rel most likely going down to missing. We have seen Kanavi play it, but let's be honest, the Rel jungle hasn't exactly caught on in the LPL.
No, it's not caught on at all, right? It's basically just been Kanavi. I'm not sure if anyone else has pulled it out since. But for the side of TT, kind of surprised that they kind of pass over this Kaiser, right? I feel like as we've kind of moved on to these newer patches as well across the world, we start to see Kaiser priority pretty much no matter what, right? If it's up, it almost gets first picked regardless. But, you know, hey, give it to Ruler, I guess. We'll see how that one plays out for the bottom side matchup. TT, they've got themselves the Sejuani as well. I wonder if they'll go towards, you know, a Jax for Hoya or just go towards the Cassante. I think those are probably the two most likely options if they're comfortable giving up the bottom lane matchup for a few extra bans. It seems like, however, with the hover, they may not be, and it will just be the Aphelios to match up towards the later stages of the game, and of course, the very early laning phase as well.
So now it goes with an Annie to answer, and the Aphelios easily 1xN's most comfortable champion. It's the pick that he's played the most across the course of the split so far. And we'll see what is going to happen in the top side, because I was thinking with the Sejuani locked in, which Beichuan's most picked, I wouldn't have been surprised to see the Renekton prioritized there for Hoya instead of that Aphelios, but they're deciding that they want to go with that Aphelios first. But now, ban towards the bottom side, so maybe the top lane matchup can still be Renekton based up top, as no bans towards it yet.
Yeah, depends on how JDG are feeling, right? They've removed away the Alistar just because it's that lane matchup against Rel, which can sometimes be rough, and just generally the matchup overall throughout the course of the game. If they go towards the Braum ban, which is also a very viable one here, right? Melee support potentially into the Braum, plus the Sejuani, sets up for a very hard to deal with team fight scenario, especially the very early skirmishes against the Permafrost and against the concussive blows. Could see that the Renekton is actually still left up for TT, which could give them that very strong top side of the map. They remove away the Nautilus, so the Braum option is still there for Yao Yao if he wants it. Of course, TT probably still operating under the assumption that this Rel can still be flexed. And I guess that'll be the big question now for JDG as well. Whether or not they hold on to the Rel flex, or whether or not they actually show their hands and go to the support matchup.
I do feel like the bad of the Alistar though, right? Like,
yeah,
you're taking Rel support. If you're banning Alistar, you're probably taking the Rel in support because the Alistar has such a good matchup into it. There's that Renekton we talked about. Taken off of the board. Doesn't want to give 369 that super strong laner. I don't think that'll be locked in. Yeah. Okay. Let's.
I mean, we've seen a little bit of a Mumu here and there, right? I think it was XL or something that did it in the LEC. I'm not saying it's, you know, yeah. I'm not saying it's like the strongest thing in the world, but on occasion it can definitely be a very, very strong looking jungler, such as the Belveth as well. Can be very strong if the spots are right for it. So very excited to see Kanavi pull that one out. It's not often that we get to see Belveth out of him. He's played it a good handful of times if I recall correctly. But it's not something that's super common, but into something like the Sejuani, which can certainly be on the slower end of clears on occasion, and can certainly be outdone by the skirmishing power that Belveth can bring in the early stages at times. I'm excited to see Kanavi pilot this one.
Yeah, I'll have to see how this one's going to go down. I mean, Kanavi's Belveth is kind of cracked. We've seen glimpses of it. We've not seen enough of it to, like, really break it down, but, like, the game that we did see, that was kind of tasty. Didn't even die throughout the game. Like, it just dominated the entire Rift. So I'm kind of here for it. And look, we said, look, is Kanavi going to bring out some funky picks? Is he going to bring out some fun? Yes, he is. The Belveth locked in. And Yao Yao going to go for that Leona. Try and shore up the bottom lane as 369 is put on duty. He'll be in absolute tears on the stage there. He knows that he's just clearing waves.
Man, I'm worried for TT because if JDG are locking in Ornn, I think they're trying to win the game really quickly. So,
Belveth with Ornn items. That feels a little scary.
What I will say though is that I think as far as the early laning phases are concerned, I feel like TT topside matchup should be Hoya's rather. Ucal should win out, I think, in the early couple of levels, even against Annie. We'll see how it actually plays out. I feel like I've seen that matchup in terms of priority sway both ways. But also the bottom side of the matchup as well, I feel like can be kind of volatile. So Kanavi, in my mind, at least on paper, I feel like doesn't have the most stable lanes to work with priority, which is kind of what I feel like is the sort of keystone to running something like Belveth. Not that the Sejuani here is going to go super aggressive in, either on the side of TT to look for constant invades, but it's not necessarily the condition in which you typically see Belveth pulled out. We'll see whether or not it comes to bite JDG in the backside, but I feel like the likely answer is it won't. We'll see how TT pilot this early game.
We certainly will. JDG versus TT. And I feel like TT need to have a dominant early game. Like you're saying, the LeBlanc, the Cassante, they've got some strength in their roster. And the Sejuani can do such a good job of setting those lanes up as well. But can they shut down Kanavi on the Belveth? And we talked about MVPs. Ucal on 10, Kanavi on 11 MVPs in second and third respectively. Kanavi going to be wanting to try and contend for that first place spot for MVPs. And in fact, he can't. This is his final series. And Scout is 3 points ahead of him. Scout on 14 MVPs this split.
Not bad from Scout. As isn't that adorable? Really throwing up the Gen G flare. That's great.
You love to see it. You love to see it. Everyone's friends on the Rift to start us off here today. And you would expect that, right? Like, this is not going to be the sweatiest game you've ever seen, I would think, since, like, literally, TT can't make playoffs. JDG can't not make top 2. We got a bit of a stack. Knight was on a ward, though. They're moving into a stacked up TT. This is the perfect start for TT. Knight going to be rooted up. Can they finish this one off? Yao flashes forward, and it's first blood for Ucal.
Ucal gets first blood, and we spoke about this as being the key matchup as well. We might not be done. Missing Ruler, want the cheese in the tribe rush. Ruler's actually going to hit the Q quite early, so reveal themselves. Not look for any kind of unmount shenanigans. And hey, Ucal picking up first blood forces the teleport out from Knight as well, so they can actually be here at level 1 for the laning phase. And with no flash, Beichuan could make a very early appearance towards the mid lane. Chains out from Ucal, very, very solid. And they could look to snowball this mid lane now.
I'm here for it. Ucal has absolutely been the main character for TT across the course of this split. So I feel like with him already having a kill, why not focusing towards him? He's not been able to go back and spend the gold, though. Although he should have an XP advantage in the mid lane, it shouldn't be so dramatic of a lead that Knight can't exist in the mid lane. So we'll have to see how that one's going to pan out. I'll keep my eyes on those CS numbers. I think that's where it's really going to show up.
Yeah, CS numbers. I think realistically, you're looking at like post first recall and how quickly that Ucal can get the static shiv, right? Longsword start from LeBlanc, and that's pretty typical. Just to get to that static shiv ASAP, it's going to be about that timer, right? How soon will Ucal hit that first item? Because that's when LeBlanc really gets unlocked on the map. And that's how, again, we were speaking about Ucal finding a mid lane matchup where he can actually keep Knight down. This can be that matchup if he starts to snowball even further ahead.
Certainly could be. The LeBlanc, I mean, the LeBlanc just takes over games as well. We've seen it countless times across the course of the split. And I will say it's one of those champions that the win rate doesn't necessarily reflect its strength, because we've seen a lot of lower tier teams playing it that kind of tank the win rate for the top tier teams. But then when you see it in a good pair of hands, when you see it in the hands of someone who knows how to dominate on LeBlanc, knows how to use this static shiv effectively, it is just terrifying to witness. Looking towards Kanavi, though. As he moves towards the bottom side of the map, all in on the bottom side. Level 3 hit for Missing and Ruler. 1xN forced away. Cleanse going to be burnt. 3 summoners on cooldown for TT.
If this just means a dive on the back end of this wave, then that's huge. Oh, Crazy Groove and connects. So Kanavi could even just look to force the flash here from 1xN. Or just nearly kill him.
There's just nowhere to go. He can't flash because Kanavi can just follow him. Now Yao still alive underneath the tower. They're going to go for this. Of course they're going to go for this. Who am I talking about here? Ruler taking the tower up so Kanavi can get on out. It's just immaculate, isn't it?
Oh man, that was so well executed. They don't get 1xN's flash, but I mean, they kill him. He's going to miss the wave. And they get an additional kill on the back end for Ruler. Well played by JDG. And just clean execution through and through. Immediate replay. So it's actually just the trade first, and then we'll get towards the tower dive. Decent cleanse from 1xN to be able to just walk out of it, but still, right? At the end of the day, eats all of the damage from the trade. The extra W from Ruler can't be dodged out on, and then Kanavi dashes forward, drops the E. Of course, I think, if I recall correctly, the Belveth E deals more damage to the target the lower that they are. So being that low, he basically loses basically 100 HP instantly. And the walk back in is super clean. Ruler knows that he's only going to tank 2 tower shots, doesn't bother cleansing the ignite, doesn't bother flashing. Knows he's out. Now Kanavi, immediate path back down towards the bottom lane. The wave is slow pushing back out. So if Kanavi is, you know, just patient, he can just find another gank here onto Yuyanjia, onto 1xn.
Missing has Hex Flash as well. Oh, 1xn,
yeah.
you're in so much trouble. Flashes out. Now they go on to Yuyanjia instead. Stradi's on the way, but I don't think it's going to matter. Yuyanjia's already gone. 1xn gets a route onto Missing. It's good damage in return, but hey, it's not going to answer a kill, is it?
No, it's not. Not in the slightest. Could even look for a wraparound.
Are they gonna...
These guys are being kind of aggressive, yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to crash the wave, but they might have overstepped this one, and now it's going to be Beichuan pulled back into the play. Missing is low and taken down! 1xn with a gorgeous combo, and it's Beichuan to pick up the kill. Hoya with an all-out, but I believe 369 just Bellows breathed it.
Yeah, either Bellows breathed it. Not entirely sure. If he didn't, then Hoya actually used the Unstoppable to also block the knockup. Not sure which way the interaction went. A lot of Unstoppable in that lane when you think about it. Ruler.
Oh, Ruler has to cleanse. But he'll be okay.
He didn't cleanse the ignite earlier. That's what it was for.
True that.
He's always thinking ahead. All good for him. But
we say it as a joke, but honestly, yeah. Like, literally.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Like, if he doesn't hold the cleanse earlier, he's dead there. Kanavi, now just looking to another lane, is going to be on permagank duty today, apparently, on this Belveth. 1-0-2 already, but Beichuan kind of matching him off the back of that bot lane play. He got the kill. How many times are we going to see top team players mess up the rel wall jump? Like, I swear, I've seen more mess-ups of that than I've seen successful rel wall jumps.
Munch, come on, be kind. Also, we got our answer in the picture-in-picture. By the way, all out was used by Hoya from underneath the tower, and then used the Unstoppable to just stop himself from being knocked up by 369's ult. So that was what the exchange was. Yeah,
369 is doing a decent job in these trades, honestly.
Yeah, like, definitely is getting the Baron.
I'm not going to claim to be some kind of top lane expert, but I see Cassante, I assume it's a winning lane, you know? And I feel like 369, every time we look it up here, it does seem to be finding these brittle procs, finding his grasp procs. That's all he really wants. Just consistently finding those grasps that's a successful lane for him if he can do that.
Yeah, so as your resident Ornn Cassante expert, actually, yeah, it's a pretty rough lane for Ornn. Just because there's a lot of bits of your CC which can be dodged out on, right? Pathmaker can stop you from being knocked up by both the E knockup, but of course the R. This time around, you see Hoya doesn't actually elect to use it. And you know what? That might be for good reason, as he's got now 3 members on the top side from JDG.
He's got no summoners. I mean, there's no way out of this one, is there? Hoya, he'll buffer a bit of CC, but that's another kill for Kanavi as well. This Belveth is going to be terrifying. He's 2-0-2 at 8 minutes in the game.
Yeah, and the worst part is Belveth is arguably the most terrifying jungler in the game when it comes to Snowball, right? Like, I can't think of another jungler in my mind which is as oppressive as this one.
I think the best way to describe it,
can't be killed.
She's like Master Yi, except actually good. You know, like she's like she hyperscales in the way that Master Yi does, but isn't. Yeah,
it's like, you know, you play solo queue, right? You see Master Yi, you have no CC, and you're just pooping yourself. You're like, man, if he gets like even 2 kills before 10 minutes, this game is going to be hard. Belveth is basically Master Yi who's not afraid of CC because she's got damage reduction, she's got a lot of extra mobility, the knockup, the AoE kind of, you know, true damage execute from the R as well. So even if you try and dogpile her, if she still manages to pick up a kill amongst all of that mayhem, she's still going to deal a bunch of damage. Ucal.
Speaking of picking up kills, we said we were going to keep an eye on this mid lane matchup. Well, Ucal, he has got a CS lead, but that's about all he's got currently.
Shiv as well, with those components. We'll back for it. The issue is he's not going to have lane priority. Missing Knight, going to clear this one away so that Kanavi can get this Rift Herald. And of course, if you are unfamiliar with Belveth, Herald gives her a buffed up version of her passive when she gets takedowns after 6. So it will spawn up those Void. Remora, I always forget the name, if she does secure it. And right now, TT a little bit too late to the party on this rotation.
As Herald taken, so expect fish across the map as we now have a Manta Ray in our midst. Kanavi just continue to dominate in terms of control of the map. It feels like Beichuan, he had that one answer in the bottom side, but generally speaking, it feels a little bit solo QE, which sounds disrespectful, but honestly, Kanavi has just been walking around, taking what he wants. TT managed to get the Drake when Kanavi went up to that top side, but it was in response to Hoya going down. Now Beichuan offering up top in case Kanavi wanted to go here for the Herald, but Kanavi in the meantime has actually gone for a reset. 369 in trouble. Oh no! Hoya punted 369 out of the way, so Beichuan's ult went wide. It's a disaster.
That's the level of anti-synergy you don't get to see often. 369, he doesn't have teleport. I think he's gonna have to. He might. Done.
Oh wait, Mystic's gonna get him out. Mystic's gonna get him out.
Done.
Oh my god, he goes to the last code. Ucal's trying to chase with the chase, but he's out of there. Mystic saves the day. Oh no. Wait, it's not Mission Impossible.
It's not even over. It's a
Impossible.
it's a bot lane roam.
It was all to self the dive.
No.
1xN is absolutely bodied. What is that? JDG,
oh
my
god. That's criminal! Absolutely criminal! 1369. So
I just
not. I can't even keep.
I don't even have words, man. Like, what do you say? Like, that was 369 getting caught out. The sheer anti-synergy from TT. And he just waltzes through the enemy jungle into bot lane and dives. Like, how many teams in the world do you get this level of shenanigans from? I just love it.
If that isn't, you know, just video evidence that bot lane is underpowered, I don't know. I'm kidding. But like,
top lane's too strong, guys.
Top lane's too strong. Nerf it. We need to nerf it again. Just keep, you know, keep making bot lane more important. Oh wow. I mean, jokes aside, that's kind of hilarious. Hoya did technically get a lot of free time up in the top side, right? He crashed a wave. He got maybe 1 or 2 plates. I'm not sure if it was 1 or 2. So he does have the Frozen Fist now. However, 369 doesn't care. He's playing Ornn, and also it's just a tank versus tank matchup, and a lot of other things are happening on the map right now, including Kanavi on the hunt with this empowered form, wants a fight, and he's going to find one.
Yeah, they're going to happily go into this one. Kanavi's the target. Solar Flare comes down, and Ucal in to finish it off. Beichuan gets the kill there. Not ideal. Missing over the wall, but chased by Beichuan. Stun should come in, and Knight, I think, realizes you cannot save your support on this one. 369 may have got away with murder, but Kanavi missing won't.
No, they definitely won't. They don't have the same Tom Cruise swagger that 369 does, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
They will be
Can you
out.
imagine Ornn doing the Tom Cruise run? Like 50 miles an hour, just like sprinting. He kind of, that's his dance, right? He does like the running man, doesn't he?
He does the running man, yeah. You know, I was just thinking, like, I don't know why, but I think in the newest trailers for the latest Mission Impossible films, Tom Cruise loves being on a bike. I just imagine Ornn on, like, a proper, like, chopper, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know why, like sunglasses, leather jacket.
Yeah, I can see it.
Like Crash Bandicoot 3 type vibes. If you know, you know.
I do not know.
Yeah. You don't know? You don't know Crash Bandicoot 1? Come on, you're older than that. That's a game from your
played
generation.
Crash Bandicoot. I have no
recollection.
motorbike, like, link there.
Oh. I mean, it was like the whole marketing thing from Crash 3. Anyway, Kanavi's probably going to buy Merc Treads. I think that's the summarization of that play. It's just about when he decides to do it. Went towards the Kraken Slayer first. Kind of interesting variant of the build. I wonder where he's going next, because Kindle Gem Longsword, there's a couple of different things I could build into. First thing that comes to mind is definitely the Black Cleaver. And with the amount of frontline on the side of JDG, wouldn't be too surprised. Speaking of frontline, we're seeing a battle of the frontline in the top side. And he just walks away.
You can't get him. You just can't get him. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how many players you send. 369 just walks it on out. Yeah, this is tough. But the thing is, TT are actually doing really well in this game. They're not that far behind 1xN. Going to get a bunch of gold up top on this tower onto the Aphelios. Like, that feels pretty good. He's down in CS. Yeah, he's behind Ruler, but like the amount of times he's been dived this game, I think he's doing a pretty good job just to exist at all. But like, when you look at the gold, it's touching distance right now. But when you look at where people are on the map and how the game is being played out, it doesn't feel like the gold's in touching distance.
No, The big problem is that JDG are such a strong team fighting team that even if they're just into Kanavi.
Oh, gets caught mid-dash here. It's a great little combo. And Kanavi disrespecting the engage. This Leona Sejuani is terrifying.
Yeah, they're walking around like a death squad right now. Beichuan and Yaoyao. And like I was saying, the reason why we may not be giving as much, how do I say, you know, sort of praise in a way, I suppose, to TT, is simply because we have seen JDG come back from like 5k gold deficits at times. And it's just like, yeah, that's JDG. That's just how things are here. So we need to continue to see Beichuan and Yaoyao actually kind of just walk around the map right now whilst it's open, right? Whilst it's not just about fighting for the objectives on spawn and looking for these picks, and then turn them into objectives on the back end. Like this tower down here, if they're going to give up this Herald for it, which, you know, against the Belveth, bold strategy, Cotton, but I can respect the want and the need to get the immediate cash injection from these map plays.
Yeah, won't be able to quite finish the tower off, but on this next wave should be able to do so. Like you say, we've not been super complimentary to TT just yet, but they have been getting styled on by 369 all game long. And once again, 4 players on the bottom side. 369 walks away with his life. Did have to flash this time at least. This tower in the bottom side in trade for the Herald. Knight will be finishing off the tier 1 up top as well. So all things considered, still a positive trade for JDG.
Still up trading at the end of the day. It's 1-for-1 in the towers. Jungle camp's going to go over to Kanavi as well. Life feels good. I'm actually really curious. I want to see this pop-up drop down. Double longsword, so I think Kanavi is going towards Black Cleaver. Which then makes me ponder what his mythic is going to end up being. We'll see. I'm sure we'll get there eventually. Dropping the Herald in the mid lane. They just want this tower dead, to be fair, below 50%. Crash will get it. What do TT do in response though, right? Collapse, pincer a little bit from all sides.
Beichuan, they're onto missing here, but he manages to dash out, and Kanavi trying to re-engage as well. Hoya out of the play here. JDG, this is only 4 players, so they're posturing like they want the fight anyway. TT denied that 5v4 that they were looking for. 369, he's just farmed away.
Yeah, 369, very happy to just sit on the side lane whilst his team get engaged on. Understands that realistically they either only lose missing or they lose no one in that exchange, and it was the latter for JDG, so very happy to just pick up that tier 1. We haven't really touched on it either, but it's just the Cloud Rift and Assault, and I feel like this game, it's not the highest yield, you know, combat soul in the world. Sometimes you see Cloud Souls which are really powerful because there's, I don't know, there's like Olaf, Rakan, the rare Aatrox, I don't know, stuff like that. Really utilize it quite well, but there is none of those champions in this game. I feel like only really Hoya gets a big amount of use out of getting that much movement speed after casting his ultimate. So I don't necessarily know, Joe, whether or not these two teams are even going to be willing to contest every single dragon. They might, because it's the LPL after all, but don't be too surprised if we get a bit of a slow mid-game here where both sides are just kind of poking and prodding, kind of playing cross-map and looking to trade as much as they can in the gold department.
It does feel like a lot of the time with JDG too, it's like nothing will happen for a very long time and then suddenly the game ends. Like that's the pacing for a lot of JDG games where they slowly but surely build up a lead, and you can see that they are slowly but surely doing that now, 1,000 gold ahead. And then suddenly they find an opportunity where the enemy team has stepped out of position at the wrong moment, and suddenly JDG just take 3 inhibitors or just finish the game or take an Elder Dragon and just blow the game wide open. So you've always got to be nervous. You've always got to be cautious. And TT, you've got to keep yourself buttoned up here. You cannot afford to make any silly little mistakes because there is no little mistake against JDG.
No. You give an inch, and they'll take the entire game. We've seen it a couple of times recently. Their most recent series, I'm forgetting who it was against, but like, they were down, like, was it RA? It was RA, yeah. Like,
RA,
they're actually struggling in the early stages against RA, and then they just end up winning a fight in the mid lane, and then just winning the game because they have a wave, and it was like 28 minutes, so the death timers were just about long enough for that to happen. Knight has missing in his back pocket, and the teleport comes out instantly. I
think Knight will be okay. I'm not sure the teleport was even needed. Beichuan.
Nope, I don't think it was. But,
dodges that on Knight's behalf.
Hoya.
Hoya, yeah, you've got 2 AD carries. I guess one's an AP carry, really. I don't think he's getting out of this one. Big damage coming out. Ruler with a 3rd kill. That's his hat trick on the board now as Beichuan tries to answer onto missing, but 369's here too. And I think this is one of the things about JDG that makes it so hard to beat them is it's always, it feels like they make a winning play on one side of the map and then don't lose the play on the other side of the map. And that is terrifying. I say that though, maybe I've spoken too soon. Missing flashes over the wall towards Kanavi here. Solar Flare kind of wasted as Knight joins the play as well. Ucal chased out of the top side. And here comes Ruler. He's got his killer instinct online and ready. Is that the real one? No, okay. There's TP going on in the meantime. Drops the emote. It's because the vision was dropped by the observers. I was like, wait a second, the clone vanished. That's the real one. Why is he stood still? He even got me.
So strange. Yeah, I mean, hey, you know. Oh yeah. At the end of the day. Good escape.
Classic misdirection.
It's all smoke and mirrors, Ucal says. Makes his way out. I'm waiting to see a little bit more side lane pressure from Ucal, right? He's got the Night Harvester now as well. It's typically when we start to see the block. Once he pull ahead, quite far ahead, right? Just being able to freely farm up so much. I feel like that was like one of the big weaknesses from LeBlanc back in the day, was sometimes just CSing with her was difficult, right? Like it was genuinely very hard to last hit. I feel like Shiv being able to last hit so much for you as well. We've been seeing LeBlanc set are far more accelerated than we're used to as far as the traditional used to go.
Yeah.
Around. Kind of on
That said,
on pace for the game.
It does feel like this build doesn't have quite the same level of late game strength than the classic, just pure AP builds. But I mean, it's still pretty strong. It's still pretty scary, especially if you're an AD carry.
Teleport from Hoya. Who are they fishing for? Are they just fishing for anyone? I'm gonna find Kanavi.
All game, they have just been hunting Kanavi, and, you know, I like it as a strategy. He is the core of this composition. He's still surviving, though. Flash is ignited, though, and will be taken down. Now, can JDG answer onto the rest of the team? Hoya's low. Ruler not going to commit to that one. Oh, nearly finds another as they go onto Beichuan instead. That's half of his health gone. They have so much burst damage. This is 4v5, and they're still chasing for more. There's another flash going to be burnt out here. Missing just charging forwards. Call of the Forge God to run Yao Yao down. And 4v5, JDG still find the fight.
It's so insane that JDG are able to find these angles time and time again. 4 versus 5, they don't care. Still turn and burn. And the resets coming in from TT. Do they just stop this Baron? The answer is no.
Oh, apparently Jamada's signal is not going super good. So I'm going to solo cast for a little bit until I'm told otherwise. So welcome to the Munchables podcast, where we're going to talk about TT and JDG. With Baron up on the map here, Kanavi back up to the top side. We'll see if JDG are willing to do anything crazy. I thought they would maybe go for the Baron off the back of the 4v5. This is going to be a 5v5, and I'm not sure that favors TT at this point since the 4v5 was won by JDG. Drake coming up soon as well as Ucal doesn't get stunned. Knight didn't quite have his passive up there. Shivs galore as we just full ARAM. Just send it down mid lane, lads. Everybody fighting over that wave. JDG now grab themselves control of the river. Ucal wants a bit of damage, but stunned up by Knight. And I will say, I've just thought of a combo. Knight gets the stun onto LeBlanc as she jumps over for the shiv damage. And then Ruler finds a W off the back of the stun. That sounds pretty scary to me. This shiv is getting some damage done. But Hoya is so low. Call of the Forge God across the team as they charge off forwards. Beichuan forced to flash. I feel like everybody is being forced to flash on the side of TT. It's actually just Yao Yao and Beichuan, but it feels like every time TT try and make something happen, one of them has to flash away. Now, with Drake spawning, Kanavi will be happy to grab his 3rd of the game here. I'm not sure what has happened to Jamada, the poor lad. I bet Scruffy's eating him. We all heard he's got a dog in him the other day. I reckon Scruffy's got out. The dog is out. Actually, I think he's lagging is the real answer, but that's not quite as entertaining, is it, if he's lagging? Ucal did not zip back. Knight trying to be cheeky with it, but decides to leave in the end. I feel like Kanavi has spent more time in Beichuan's jungle than he has in his own. Look at that, 50 CS lead in the jungle. It was that Black Cleaver that Jamada was reminiscing about, ruminating about earlier. TT finally getting some Baron vision. Resets for JDG and TT. They're like, you know what? Let's just start the Baron off. Let's get this game going. And Kanavi makes a beeline over. 369 has TP available. So does Knight, who's finishing a recall. And there we go. Double TP on this ward. Missing protecting it for the solo laners to get in. TT, you've got 2 TPs out of it, but can you find a fight here? Hoya, meant to be the front line, but he don't feel that tanky right now. Kicked out. Blast cone to safety. They're on the wrong side of the pit right now. JDG could just run towards the mid lane here. Like, they don't have to respect TT if they don't want to. That wave going to be primed and ready. I think Ruler just going to clear that and rejoin the team, and in fact going to go for a reset. As Hoya charges in. 369 takes a bit of damage. Hey, it's a little bit of a bonus for TT. Hey, did some damage to Ornn. They've seen this before, though, haven't they? They've done some damage to Ornn a few times this game. They've just never actually finished the job. By the way, Leandri's picked up by Knight, and it's upgraded as well. That is a lot of damage on the Annie. There's Baron down to 7k. Can they do it this time around? It's 3v5 as 369 pulled in. They'll finish the Ornn off. Finally, will they get the kill onto the Ornn? But at what cost? 1xn. Finishing another one off as Kanavi tries to chase him down. Knight chasing as well. It's 2 for 3. There's the knock-up and the finish off. The Manta Ray fully in charge. And that'll be Baron for JDG. Beautiful stuff. And the fight felt like it could have been beautiful. But everything blown onto 369. It's just not the way you're going to win this one. Ucal trying to be a nuisance. They're all in the pit, and the stack shiv actually doing a lot of work. Ucal, this is the hero moment against JDG. Missing. Goes wide on the Magnet Storm. Baron taken. Can Ucal finish the 1v3, though? Jumps back in for more shift damage, but just doesn't have enough in the tank to finish any kills off. JDG, they walk away with a Baron, a 5k gold lead. And we're into the replay. Over to you, Analysis Munch. Thank you, Commentary Munch. As 369 steps on forwards. Look at everything being blown onto this Ornn. The all-out comes out. The Solar Flare is there. The whole combo from Ucal. And then the Tibbers from Knight. Just denies everything. And yeah, Ucal finishes the job, but the rest of the team just dive on in off the back of Knight's ulti. Ruler got turned into marmalade at some point during all of that. Paddington Bear would be proud. Well, there we go. 11 to 8 as we lower the tone to build some suspense in the game. Kanavi has found Ucal. The MVP off begins in the top side as JDG starts to push down the mid lane. This is sounding less like suspense and more like David Attenborough. As you see, the TT are a humble creature, farming in the mid lane. As JDG, the predator in the situation. But maybe the prey as Knight forced to turn golden. The knockups come out from JDG. Infernum across the team, but they just don't have the damage to actually kill anyone. 1xn alone in the world and taken down by the predator. The JDG bites and the poison sinks in. Ruler with a long-range snipe for the triple kill. And Ucal left alone wondering, why am I on this team? Ruler, actually, I was going to say in trouble, but actually just has us on yours. And the snipe isn't going to land. Ucal gets out. But in the meantime, Kanavi, look at the fish. Look how many fish he has. What is going on? He's got an entire army. They're playing PvE at this point. Kanavi, raid boss, and they need to deal with the ads. Good Lord. Knockups across the team as well. TT are done for. JDG. Absolutely shrekking him. More JDG emotes come out. It's the Nexus will fall. And my goodness. That was a game. That was definitely a game of League of Legends. TT, to be fair to them, did pretty well in the early game, and I like that they were still fighting them. I like that they were still trying to bring more to the table, but at the end of the day, it's JDG. And there's only so much you can do.